for whatever reason, it's not practical for a sales guy to go and open his trunk and have everything that the company sells. These are big companies, Dell, Cisco, IBM, the GE, Thermo Fisher Scientific, lots and lots of big companies. What we do is we create 3D product models of the stuff that they sell, and then we use various technologies to get those 3D product models into the hands of their salespeople. So it's interesting that I'm here talking to you folks, because like in Eric's speech, he had that chart, and all the way over on the right there was sales, right? And he didn't quite get there, right? Because you guys never quite get there. You create beautiful products, but your digital products never actually make it into the hands of sales and marketing. So let me show you an example. This is brand new. Okay. Because of the color, you can't quite see where the background ends and the product begins. But here's a 3D product model. This was not made in SolidWorks. This was not made in CATIA. This was made by a photographer taking lots of pictures of a real product and us giving those pictures to a 3D artist who used 3D Studio Max to create a geometry that matched the pictures that he saw. And then that created this 3D model, which we then use our own technologies to deploy in various ways. So it's an interesting problem that you guys create beautiful digital things, but we can't use them because they don't look real enough. And I don't have a solution to that problem, but I'm always, when I'm talking to folks in your end of the industry, the beginning of product development, I want you to be aware that this is a real issue. We can't use your stuff. It's far, far cheaper for us to take photographs and recreate digital product models than it is to take the CAD data that you guys have and make it work for what we need with 50,000 triangles instead of 50 million triangles, with lots and lots of really detailed texture so that you can zoom in and see stuff like that. Right? That's not in the CAD data at all. That stuff exists at the end when products really exist. So we create these 3D product models, and they meet the requirements of sales and marketing, which is that they have to be a perfect digital replacement for actually having the real product there. So they have to be completely photorealistic. So we'll put these 3D product models into the hands of salespeople on their iPad. We'll put these 3D product models on a website. If you have seen the 3D model of something in the computers, peripheral networking, life sciences, laboratory equipment, any of those kinds of things on the web, we probably did it. So we create these experiences, we help the salespeople tell their product stories, and then we expand as these new technologies become available. And one of the new technologies that's recently become available is augmented reality. And let me go, I tried a couple of different things this morning, or earlier today. I think this one will fit. So here's a flow meter. So say it's a pipe, stuff goes through the pipe, and you measure how much stuff is going through the pipe. So we did this for GE Oil and Gas, they sell to refineries. I'm going to take this 3D model, I'm going to go into augmented reality mode here. I'm going to find the floor. There we go. So there's a floor here. There it is. So now, right down there, next to her. So there's her and this, right? In fact, we even, because this is sales, right? I have a photograph button. I could actually take a picture of her with her very favorite flow meter. In a sales situation, this can be invaluable. You're selling a piece of laboratory equipment, and you walk into the customer's lab, and you put it there. And you say, look, our assay analysis thing is way smaller than the competitor's assay analysis thing, right? You can go into the field and see how things are going to work. So there's a practical utility to it, but what's much more important in sales than the practical utility is the emotional connection.
that we've always been able to give people somewhat of an emotional connection to products by having 3D product models that look very realistic. But it's taken to the next level when you have the idea that it's not only realistic, I mean, it's right there. I can see it. I mean, it's not there, but it's there. I can see it. And you can get in there, you can, and the heck, let's go ahead and see how this thing works. So the way this thing works is there's an animation running and there's data flowing, it bounces acoustic waves, I think, across the liquid and measures how long things are taking. So all of that product explanation work that we've done, that's now available in augmented reality. So we're doing that in AR. We're doing similar things in VR now. We'll put on an Oculus headset or one of the new Windows mixed reality headsets, or running on an Android phone inside a Daydream headset. We can create these same experiences, and you're really looking at a 3D product model like you guys do every day on your screen, but there's something visceral and emotional about feeling like you're really there with it. I'm standing right next to this router, and I don't know, why does it make you want to buy it? I don't understand sales. No one understands sales. It works. It really gets you to the point that you believe in these products and you believe that they're there. And it helps the salespeople look really smart, because even though they don't really understand what an R2H2 meter configuration means, they can hit the button and be an expert immediately, right? So I think what I want you to take away from this is that there's a lot of really great things that we can do with digital models of real things. We can use them to sell products, and if that far right part of Eric's diagram, sales, if that doesn't happen, then there's nobody to pay for everything that happened before that. So as much as it's annoying, you have to sell. So if you can find ways of making the artifacts that you guys are creating, these digital products that you use for manufacturing in the design phase, carry those through somehow so that it's cost effective for us to be able to use them all the way down at the end of the pipe, that would be great. Because frankly, I don't want to pay a photographer, and I don't want to pay a guy using 3D Studio Max to make this product model. I want to take what you guys create and just put it in there, but I can't do that right now. You've got too many polygons, you don't have enough realism. And it's got to meet a very high bar in order to be acceptable to the sales and marketing world. So, there you go. Any questions? Yeah, comment.
How do we know that was the right size relative to
How do you know that was the right size in the flow compared to the people that were there?
Oh, we trust Apple. So the way that this stuff works, so look at that. It even kind of remembered, even though I put the app and came back. Let me place it again. So the way this stuff works is we know the actual size of the product, right? When we modeled it, I know how big it is. Okay, it's 48 inches long, 4 feet. So in order to place something in augmented reality, there's a couple of different things you've got to do. One is you have to figure out how far away is the floor from the device, so you can figure out how much to scale it so everything looks right. And you have to figure out where the floor is. And the first augmented reality products that we brought into the market, we're using a product technology called Google Tango. It's really cool. It uses time-of-flight laser measurement to figure out the answers to those questions, and it can instantly map an entire room to centimeter accuracy. And in sales, that's close enough. Okay? And that was in the market for about 6 months, but there hasn't been a lot of pickup of the Tango technology on the part of the Android phone manufacturers. And then Apple came out with ARKit, which tries to do exactly the same thing, but without any special hardware added to the BOM to do that laser measurement. So instead what they're doing is using photogrammetry to match up different frames and incredibly well-tuned IMUs, inertial measurement units, inside these devices to be able to tell how they're little accelerometers. And so they can tell little tiny motions that you're making here, compare them to the pictures, and how they change there, and reconstruct what's going on using what Apple calls deep learning stuff, machine learning hardware. So that allows us to recreate enough of the environment. We don't get much of the environment. we get the floor and how far away it is, but that's all we need. And now we can place something and have it look realistic and be accurate. You can trick it, you know, if someone walks right in front of it, it'll kind of just breaks the illusion, but that works. Google has something called AR Core, which is exactly like AR Kit, but it's going to be on Android phones. And that's going to be coming out in a couple of months, and we've used it, and it's amazing. It's just as good as AR Kit. So that's another thing. But ultimately, we are relying on people who have way more money than we do to solve the hard problem of how do you do augmented reality on this device. Yep.
So I think this is a really interesting problem in trying to get 3D data out of the kind of engineering world into the meeting and taking space. Autodesk are the only company that kind of span those two worlds. So they own Vector, and they also own 3D Studio Max. So they've been putting efforts around FBX. They are putting a lot of work around in Vector, being able to put materials onto CAD data. Have you found that the quality of the materials when they are altered in the CAD system and are brought into that world are good enough, or are they still not digital quality?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think the CAD vendors tend to think of this as a file format problem. That's not the problem. The problem is not moving the data from one tool to another. The problem is that the data isn't there. So to create photorealistic 3D models that I can run in real time on what is frankly game hardware, right? That's what an iPad is. This is a game console that you're holding in your hand. So I can't do real-time shading. You know, I have a couple of fragment shaders. That's about it. What I need is for all of that detail to be baked in. It's got to be in these textures already. That's not geometry here. This right here, these are not little bumps on the thing. That is a picture of those words, right? So
They do have photorealistic systems that are generating high quality.
absolutely, and they can generate photorealistic pictures in minutes or hours of computer time. But I'm running at 60 frames a second. So I have a few milliseconds to get this picture onto the screen as the user's interacting to keep up that interactivity. The only way that I can do that right now is by already having all of that beauty baked into a texture. So if Autodesk was going to solve this problem for me, I think the way they're going to do it is by doing what in the Hollywood world they call baking down. So you have a very, very sophisticated lighting model, but then you don't actually use it in real time. You just bake it down into a bunch of texture, and then take that texture and apply it to simpler models that you can then use in real time. That works, but the tools are not automated and they're not producing anything near what we would need to have to replace, even though this is a real pain in the neck to create this model by taking pictures of it and giving it to an artist, it's not that expensive compared to what we're talking about, your time, right? So an hour of your time is, that's a whole photo shoot, right? Especially considering you work for a big company and all of your costs get plussed up, right? So for the marketing people to go all the way back to the engineering department and say, do more work, that's not going to fly. It's going to be too expensive. Got time for one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. I'll bring the mic.
How many hours did it take?
I didn't hear the
Assuming
question.
it's, how much time did it take to build it? Assuming someone actually built it in 3D and then took the photographs and pasted them onto the surfaces we need to.
This particular model, I can't answer, but I can tell you in general, 40 to 60 hours.
Or models, we've got like 50, 100 different products. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, we have about 1,000 3D models out there in the world right now. If you go to our website, you can find about 100 different applications. So we do this a lot. We have a very mature pipeline, and the guys who create these models, the women who create these models, this isn't their first time doing it, right? So it's a very efficient process. We know exactly how to do a photo shoot. They know exactly how to get those photos into being a good reference. They know exactly what measurements are going to need to going in. We have a very mature pipeline for taking the stuff out of Max, which Max is a great tool, but it's a great tool for creating a 3D model, not for creating a fully animated experience with lots of stuff going on, right? So we have our own tool set that we built. We're a 20-year-old company. We've been doing this a long time. We developed a lot of our own internal tools to be able to do those kinds of animation and just know that everything's going to just work.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joshua.
Okay.